It's time once again for your Maple Grove update. I'm Dave Kaiser from Northwest Community Television. In the next half hour, a look at the most recent council meeting and a look all around the city of Maple Grove and what's new. Stay with us. Maple Grove Report coming up next. And thanks again for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report, joined by Al Madsen, Maple Grove City Administrator. Al, welcome again to the program.
Thank you, Dave.
Piles of notes, as you see. You're ready for this meeting today and this show today. We've got something of color on top, though, that we must get to first. It's that time of the year where we're all getting outside, getting excited about some fresh produce and items, and you have an answer for us.
Sure do. Every Thursday, starting June 12th, will be our farmers market. This is 10 years we've been doing this. It's
Wow.
really hard to believe. So we just recently had the indoor kickoff, spring preview kickoff, which was well attended. Residents, non-residents, they really get excited about the farmers market, and it's a great draw. And so there's going to be a lot of fun activities. You know, not just the vendors that are there selling, you know, their product, but we always have a lot of side activities that are going on, you know, for the kids and for the whole family in general. And so starting June 12th, from 3 until 7, and then in October the hours are 3 to 6, and so it's a lot of fun. It's just a wonderful event. So
People can find out information about that through the city's website, but they also have their own website.
Correct.
MapleGroveFarmersMarket.com. So
Correct.
Get out there, get that information, see some of the great vendors that are being back, and also some of the new ones that might be there.
Right.
Otherwise, you've got a full list of things happening around town. What's new in Maple Grove as we hit mid-May?
well, we're all safe. The legislature has adjourned, and so
You say that with a grin on your face.
yeah, I do. Actually, not a lot of damage came out of it.
Okay.
You know, the communities always worry because usually when the legislature is in session, every now and then there's mandates that come out of it. No funding to help pay for the mandates, but this was a fairly tame session. And so one of the issues that did come up, and I'm still trying to get a handle around exactly what is required, but it deals with radon. The legislature has required in the building code, the state building code, dealing with radon, and so we're still trying to figure out exactly what is that going to require. If you have an unfinished basement and you're going to finish your basement, are you required to put in a radon detection system? Or are you not? If you're building a home, will you be required to put in, you know, a radon detection system at that time? We're still trying to get our arms around that. So.
Okay.
There was an article in, I'm trying to remember what I think it might have been a magazine called Government or something like that, and it was praising the city of Madison, Wisconsin, for having 7 playgrounds per 10,000 people.
Okay.
Well, my park and rec director put his math hat on and, you know, did some looking into it, and we are 8.4 playgrounds per 10,000 people. So,
oh my goodness.
Yep. So we exceed Madison. We're working with the Opus Corporation on a concept that nothing has been officially brought in yet, but called the Point at Arbor Lakes. This is that northeast corner at Elm Creek and Hemlock. It's the last corner in that section right there to be developed, and so we're working with Opus officials to try to fine-tune the concept plan, and at some point in time they'll be submitting something, but right now it's merely just discussion between Opus and staff.
Okay.
So, Weaver Lake Park Beach opens on May 31st, and so we hope by then the water will be warm enough. We assume the ice will be out.
At least the sand will be warm, right? But maybe don't step in the water.
Yeah, the water's probably going to be chilly. So another thing that we're dealing with is Rice Lake. We have had an extensive fish kill in Rice Lake because this past winter, where it froze, and, froze down so far, took care of all the oxygen, and we've had thousands of fish. And so our Park and Rec staff has been vigorously working along the shoreline of Rice Lake, to clean up the smelly mess. And so I think that I know that they've cleaned up at least 1,000. So
and that falls solely on the city, or is there other help that can come to the rescue in something like that?
Oh, in this particular case here, it's the city.
Okay.
Yeah, the city pays for the cost of it, but it takes time, and it's not the most pleasant odor
can imagine,
job
right?
to be doing it. So
you can probably tell what's happening from a few blocks away.
True, that's right. Upshur Smith, that's one of our businesses on the east side of 494. They've been adding on. Right now they're adding on 121,000 square feet. Project is coming along very well. We just learned that they're going to be shifting their Plymouth operation to Maple Grove into that added space.
Sure.
And so that means obviously added employees here in Maple Grove. So we're very happy about that. May 27, Tuesday, May 27, we will have the official groundbreaking for Silver Creek on Main. That's the senior housing development. This is the one that's right across from Lifetime Fitness. Right. It's a piece of land the city sold to Silvercrest. And so at noon on May 27, we will have the groundbreaking. So it'll be nice to see that project get going. We've been working on it for probably 2 years. And so it's nice to see it finally take hold.
And as I recall, there's great interest in it from seniors in the community who might want to get their name on a list to be involved in it.
It really is, and there's a sign there that tells how they can do that.
Okay.
I think it was 2 years ago when I gave a tour of the city for seniors, and talked about that corner and the potential there. And surprisingly, I got a call from the developer, probably a couple of days later, but people were already calling, wanting to get their name on the list.
Right.
And so it's going to be a very, very nice project. The first phase is going to be about 195 units, multi-story, and the second phase will be about the same number, 195.
Fantastic.
So it's going to be a very, very attractive building right at the corner there. So it'll have a great presence. Right now, we are single-family homes. We've issued permits for 93 versus 79, so we're running a little bit ahead. But we're starting now to kick into the real construction time, the months of May, June, July, August, September, October. So those numbers are continuing to push up.
Very good.
The multi-family numbers certainly have been very strong. The Maple Grove Senior High is going to be adding 10 to 12 classrooms. What's happening is the ninth grade is now being shifted to the senior high because of now the grade reconstruction, and so they are in need of added space there. And so we'll be working with school district officials on that. We got a report from the Metropolitan Council. And it's as of the end of 2013, so it runs a little bit behind, but they're saying that the average household size in Maple Grove is 2.67 people. The interesting thing of their report is that they give us a breakdown of the housing stock. And at the end of April of 2013, we had 16,000 single-family units, 4,900 townhomes, and 2,800 multifamily units. And another interesting part, maybe just because I'm a policy wonk, I don't know, but of that single family detached, you got 16,000 units. You got almost 44,000 population just within the single family attached.
Right.
And then there's 13,000 in townhomes and 4,900 people in multifamily units. And so we get this once a year from the Met Council. Sometimes their numbers differ a little from ours.
Sure.
And who's the more scientific and precise? We don't know, but we're not far off.
So which departments then further boil that down, and does that affect policy in some way within the city? Does that actually get to a point where that number means, well, we're going to potentially do this?
Excellent question. It'd be Community Development Department. And so, they would take a look at this, and certainly it could have an impact on future staffing, could have an impact on just existing duties. Is there a need to rearrange some things? So it's the Community Development Department that pores over this very, very carefully and just determines, okay, what are things going to be like in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years? So.
Does that 2.67 number surprise you? Is that what you thought it would be, or what your calculations come out to be roughly per household?
I think it's down a little bit.
Okay.
I think that at one time we were, I'm thinking closer to 3, and so it's inched down a little bit, but it's about where we were expecting.
Okay.
So, but interesting statistics.
We'll see if those numbers come back to us sometime.
Right. Council meeting. We had a nice, smooth council meeting. It was 40 minutes long. We're losing, due to retirement, number of folks. Most of them are in the law enforcement field. Captain Tracy Stilley, he's been with us 28 years. He is retiring at the end of May. Bill McGowan, who's our project coordinator in our engineering department, 35 years, and he's retiring. Sergeant Mike Sargent, we always get a kick out of it. We give him a bad time. Sergeant. He's retiring at the end of May, and I think he has about 24 years of experience with us. Linda Burke in our Public Works Department. Linda's been here, I know, more than 30 years, and she's retiring, I think, at the end of June. And Sergeant Garland has been with us, I think, close to 30 years. So
my goodness.
we're an aging population, but part of the retirement frenzy that seems to be taking place in the law enforcement field, not just with us, but law enforcement across the state, is that the legislature made a number of changes to the PARA, the Public Employees Retirement, and especially as it relates to police fund. And so it's advantageous to those that meet what they call the rule of 90. It's advantageous to those to retire. They can certainly continue to work, but they start to take a penalty. They start to take a hit on their pension plan. And so, and typically what happens, especially in the law enforcement field, a lot of law enforcement folks, they'll retire at 50, maybe 55, whatever the case may be, but they're still young, and they'll maybe do something else. They'll work part-time, somewhere else as security for something. So,
right.
Anyway, so we're losing some very, 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 very good people. A lot of history and a lot of years of service, and so I want to thank each one of them for a tremendous role that they have played. And so
they've seen quite a few things change in their time with the city of Maple Grove, from the early days of getting things rolling to where it is now.
Absolutely right. And as we may have mentioned in a previous meeting, Chief Jess, Dave Jess, is retiring at the end of May. David has been with us, I think, 26 years. Rose up through the ranks, started as a patrol officer and just worked his way up through, and then deputy chief, and then 3 years ago, or maybe a little less than that, we appointed him chief. And so we're going to miss David as well. He's just been a very, very dedicated law enforcement individual. He has the right personality. He's a very, very people person. Very, very good out in the public with the community. And so we're certainly going to miss him as well. So the new chief coming in will be a gentleman by the name of Eric Warner. Eric is the chief of police in Rosemont. And the council went through an interview process and selected Chief Warner from Rosemont to fill Chief Jess's spot. Chief Warner will start on June 9th.
Okay.
And then at the June 16 swearing in is where we'll have Chief Warner sworn in at the June 16 council meeting. We also swore in at that same time is 2 new sergeants, Travis Pagoda and Sean Watson. So Everything will kind of take place the ceremony-wise at the 16th, because any time you have a retirement, it leaves the vacancy, but then you need to fill that. And
Sure.
For example, if a sergeant retires, you pick one of the officers to move into that. If a captain retires, you pick one of the sergeants to move into that. So it's a progression.
Right.
But we are losing a lot of dedicated city employees, not just law enforcement, but city employees as well. With Linda and Bill, both of them have just put in years and years of service with us, and so it's we wish them well. It's one of those where it's we're happy and then we're getting sad.
Right. Exactly.
So, we did have at the last meeting. We did have a couple of, actually 3 discussion items on development projects. First one is a very, very wonderful project that we're really looking forward to. It's the Park Nicollet Regional Medical Facility. It's on Upland Lane, next to their existing Park Nicollet facility they have there. This will be a multi-story, $54 million development. It will connect with the Park Nicollet that was right next door. The nice thing about this, well, number one, the nice thing how we're getting the project, which is very, very good, but also this will be the stepping stone to a future 5-story office building. They have very, very large plans for that, and so it's a tremendous medical presence right in that area. So that was approved 4-0 by the council, and so we're looking forward to that project getting going. So they're looking at 250 to 260 employees.
Fantastic. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more. You say it's a regional facility. In what way does that serve the region? With medical care? With
medical
office?
care.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And what type of medical care? What's the levels of care that would be provided at that facility?
Not a duplication of the hospital.
Right.
No, but there will be, there'll be same-day service type things.
Okay.
The hospital does offer some of that. Also, it will be the offices for a number of doctors that do their service at the hospital, but they'll also have their offices in this facility as well. So it'll be a wide range of medical services. So.
Does this replace an existing facility that's somewhere else, or is this bringing together of maybe various offices into one larger facility that might serve this whole region?
It doesn't replace anything. No, it's probably bringing together services, but really does not replace anything. And again, the nice part is not only this project, but what Park Nicollet has planned, and they've got a very large medical facility planned, and hopefully it all comes to be.
Wonderful.
So this is going to be just a great, great presence right there too, because it's right along the freeway and along Maple Grove Parkway, and it's going to have just a tremendous. The building itself is very, very attractive, and again, multi-story. So.
All right, we'll keep our eyes out for that.
Another project is the replacement of Champs. We've talked before that Champs is closed and has been sold to a company called Paradise. It's a car wash. It's sometimes people, when you first say a car wash, they get a little, oh gosh, big deal. This is probably the most elaborate car wash I think I've ever seen.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
It's not one where it's a self-service. I mean, it's one of those where you pull in and you go in this long, about 150-foot long tunnel. You can either stay in your car while it goes through the system, or you can get out and go into the lobby area where they have a small retail area.
Sure.
But it's very attractive. I'm impressed with how attractive the building is, because typically, I know when my community development director first approached me and said that there was a car wash looking at the Champ site, and I'm going, oh really? I mean, well then we got the plans in, and I mean it is very, very attractive. So they will probably, well, Champs is closed now. They've been cleaning out a lot of the interior fixtures. I got to give credit to Scott Weiner, who was the owner of Champs. Scott has found jobs for all of his employees that are being displaced
Very nice.
at other restaurants. He's the incoming president of the Minnesota Restaurant Association, and he's been able to find jobs for all of his outgoing employees. And I think that's just a tip of the hat to Scott for his wonderful work on that.
Right.
So.
So I take it the car wash is going to have all new buildings, so they will not
Yes.
be using anything that's existing
No,
on the site.
no, Champs will come down,
Okay.
and it'll be kind of sad because it's had
Well,
a presence there
icon, right.
for many years, and so. But I think that this will be a highly attractive facility, and so. But again, we're losing a restaurant that's been here for a lot of years.
So what is the time frame then on taking the building down, and when will we be able to take our cars in to get them washed?
I think that they probably will start demo work. My thought is in 30 days.
Okay.
Because they can come in for a demolition permit before they actually get a formal building permit. And so my assumption is probably sometime, now that the council has approved this, sometime in the next 30 days they'll be in for a demo permit.
Okay.
So you start seeing a lot of activity there. I think that they're hoping, if I remember the gentleman correctly, I think they're hoping to be operational by end of October.
Okay.
So it's a fairly fast track.
And is this business that has other locations in the metro area, or is this their first, do you know?
This will be the first one that will open in the metro area. Woodbury is about a month behind us.
Okay.
And so there'll be one in Maple Grove and then one in Woodbury. So, and they do have these in other areas as well. So,
Okay.
but from what I've seen, it's going to be very, very attractive. So we're looking forward to that. The other development project is an industrial project. It's called the Red Rock Business Park. There's a 22-acre piece of land along 81 next to Hanson Concrete. That used to be Bladholm years ago, Bladholm Concrete. Then it was sold, and it was County Concrete. That land has been sitting vacant, and the buildings are gone for several years. United Properties now has acquired it and will be, again, it's 22 acres. They've got two buildings that they're going to be putting up. The first one is 182,000 square feet, so it's a very large industrial building. And the second one is about 84,000 square feet. So two very large buildings there. They want to start construction, obviously, as sooner, not later. They have a number of industrial folks that are interested in that space. So it'll be nice to see that open space finally, finally get developed. So, and then right across the street is the former Shell station.
Right.
Demo on that should be starting, or hopefully this month of May.
Okay.
Because that's been running a little bit behind as well, but we'll get that down, and that'll be a brand new Shell/convenience.
Right.
Still have the Shell brand, but a new facility.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot of activity right in that area. So the Red Rock Business Center, it's an industrial building, but the exterior is very attractive. It will be a multi-tenant type of building, but again, a lot of square footage, and so we're talking jobs and revenue and things like that. So,
With the Red Rock building, will that be then facing 81, and will there be any traffic changes on 81, or will it face the opposite way?
really not any traffic changes. The building itself will face 81.
Okay.
Main access will be off of 89th.
Okay.
Now there is an access off of 81. But at least in the plan that we've approved, the majority of the access will be off of 89th. But the
Okay.
building itself will face 81, and it's a very attractive exterior all the way around. So,
All right. Very
so we're happy with those three development projects.
Right.
They're popping along good, and so I think August 5th we set National Night Out, and so that'll be another fun time. It's always enjoyable to get out there and just talk with the folks. And years ago, we used to have some issues as it related to rental housing. And you always cringed about going out on National Night Out because sometimes you'd get beaten up. No more. That just hasn't happened over the years. And so it's fun to get out because everybody's in a festive, positive mood, and really that's what National Night Out is to be, is to bring attention, to how do you keep aware of crime.
Right.
And some of these neighborhoods, they go all out. I'm just amazed that, they bring in the bouncy type stuff, and they've got.
I know you're checking out which neighborhoods have the bouncy houses so you can ride them, right?
Absolutely,
Just go
yes,
inside.
yeah. Also checking out which neighborhoods have the greatest setup of food, too.
Okay, that also would be a good
It's just
idea.
amazing. I mean, it's amazing, some of them. I mean, they really pull out all stops, but it's a lot of fun. Everybody really seems to have a great time, so.
But certainly a secondary element of that, besides taking the bite out of crime, is obviously to get that pulse on the community. So I'm sure you do hear things, encourage residents,
Oh, yes.
as you stop by and the mayor and council members stop by, to
Oh, yeah.
let them know what's on their mind.
Absolutely. I mean, if there's an issue that somebody has, I want to know it, council wants to know it, so we can deal with it.
Right.
Too many times, things may sit and fester, and,
Sure.
and then the longer that it's not brought to our attention, the more difficult it can be to try to get it corrected. And so, yeah, if there's an issue, if there's a parking issue, or if there's a cluttered building, or sometimes you may have a developer that might start building a home and for a variety of reasons may stop building it, well, then you got all this construction stuff sitting around.
Right.
No progress. We can take care of that situation. So anyway, so it's good. And then we got Maple Grove Days coming up. I hate to say that.
Hard
I mean,
to believe.
it
July is closing in on us.
It is, and so we got the parade again, which I think you and myself and Mayor Burlingame will narrate once again, and so that's going to be a lot of fun. So.
We have seen some information recently from Town Green. It looks like they have a full schedule of fun and excitement at Town Green. So that's something residents should go to the city's website. You guys have a little bit of everything there.
We do. I saw some numbers, but I just can't recall what they were about the number of attendees to the various events. The Dylan performance.
Sure.
Just seems to bring out a ton of people.
Our guys in the control room, right? Were they front row?
I think they probably were. There's no doubt about that. And they probably saw this articles in the paper about there's a gentleman wrote a book about the Dylanism, or however they call it.
Okay, sure.
So, but
so that is on the schedule again this year, in case people want to know.
Right. Yep. And so there's a lot of fun activities, and then we continue to work on our Central Park. That's another project it's a long-term project.
Sure.
But it's going to add even more vitality to that entire area. So, and we keep working with the landowners in the gravel mining area. We develop little by little by little, and so we did finally get our gravel mining area tax increment financing proposal after.
I was going to ask about
3
that.
times.
Good.
After 3 shots with the legislature, we finally did get it approved, and so now we're starting to lay out the framework in which we can operate. So
Very good.
But there's a lot of exciting things coming up. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Final couple minutes here. Let's talk a little bit about the Trader Joe's World Market area. I know people who have been driving in that area have seen some changes coming. Tell us a little bit about that area and how parking and entrances are reconfigured just a little bit.
What they're doing right now is reconfiguring the parking lots. And so you see a lot of work going on there. Right. And the purpose of that is obviously to add more parking, because World Market is going to be coming back. And you got with the parking, but you got, it's just that section right there, there's a lot of activity.
Whole Foods, right?
You got Whole Foods, you got Trader Joe's, you got Cost Plus World Market that's coming back after a number of years of absence.
Right.
But back into the same space, which is interesting. But what they see right now is a lot of reconfiguration of the parking lot itself to add more parking spaces.
And it should be done by, what's the estimation on the time frame for that?
Oh gosh, it should be done, I would think, we're May, June, July. I would think we're looking at sometime in the next 45 days.
Okay,
yeah.
Very good. Well, unfortunately, we're done. Time is wrapping up here for this Maple Grove Report. Al, thank you very much for your time.
Dave.
Let's look at some dates. June 2nd, the next council meeting date. And you can always call the city or go to the website to find out more, or call our viewer response line if you have questions or comments about the program. For Al Madsen, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.